we must bring the one and only Colin inside of this show from AdOven. I believe he also has a brand that he also owns. I believe.
Interesting.
May or may not be Servco Health. I couldn't say. We have to hear from the man himself, but I will say that I am very interested in AI powered ad creative systems for your brand. Very interested in that, and would love to hear from him about it. Everybody, welcome Colin Elefante of AdOven.
Man, what an intro.
There he is. Colin, man, welcome to the show. We appreciate you making the time to join us, brother.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course, man.
Good to see another 1L Colin. We trust these guys. None of those 2L Collins. They can't be trusted. Colin and I know about this. We know about this. Those 2L guys, they're nuts.
Not as bad as when someone tries to pronounce it colon, but
don't.
1L's the way. Yeah. I don't want to go there.
Happened at my wedding. Someone giving me a toast, and they said,
I'm sorry. Kidding me.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal time at my wedding.
That happened at your wedding, bro? Somebody gave you a colon? Congrats to the groom, colon. Yeah. Somebody did that?
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Wow.
That's the large intestine. I mean, I take that personally.
Exactly. I'm a small intestine guy myself.
Colin, brother, give us background on you, okay? And getting involved in e-com. I want a little bit of origin story, but we got to dive into what's going on with AdOven, these AI powered creative systems. Before we get there, just give us a little background on you and how you got here today.
Yeah, so started my own creative agency last year. Doing statics, exclusively statics. Our central offer that's really took off was unlimited statics done for you. Every single.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that did really, really well. Became kind of an operational. There were challenges with that.
For sure.
But over time, in order to overcome that, we started exploring some of these AI tools, and I started to see kind of where the puck was going. Right, AI creative was going to commoditize sort of the done for you, done by hand stuff. So it was either we needed to move in that direction or we were going to have a problem. And so earlier this year, completely pivoted to, instead of doing statics for people, which we still do, we still deliver creatives, but building systems inside of brands so that they can run their own version of that, right? Where they don't really need us at all. And I think the tools are there and they're only getting better.
That's interesting, man. I think that you were ahead of the puck there. Go ahead, Colin.
Could you talk to us a little bit about, I'm sure you see a ton of creative day in and day out. Could you talk to us about creatives that is working right now? Creative statics where this is some bread and butter that folks should always be having in their ad account, should always be testing when they're trying to actually deploy this type of system. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I think native statics are always good to have in an account right now. That's usually when I come in. So, brands that are, whether it's e-commerce, we work with info product brands as well. Just trying to get something that's going to feel native to the feed, something that's going to feel organic. One thing that, Meta is really pushing right now is just long form primary text. So putting that native static in the context of a very long, almost like a VSL length primary text. That's like absolutely crushing right now because you're feeding context. You're feeding context into Meta's algorithm, right? So, I mean, there's an LLM operating on top of, everything that Meta's doing now. So it's looking at that context of your primary text and the other side of your landing page. So the more context you can feed it, the better. So we're seeing that work really well right now.
Colin. Sauce. Oh, sauce on the show, Colin. I find that fascinating. The primary text. I mean, like VSL type link. That is truly fascinating. It makes sense. It makes sense in terms of Meta and its systems and giving it more context and such. I have also wondered if there are just different generations and how they interact with ads differently. Like I find like with my parents, and maybe this is true of the typical boomer, but they actually read. They like actually read the thing. Like, you know, you give them a whole thing to read. If they're interested, they will read that thing like a newspaper article, every word, and then consider what you are saying. I
Yeah.
I find that very fascinating.
One of the other things I'll say too is like, because, you know, not just on the creative side, but these AI tools are now enabling us to curate entire funnels around winning creatives. So, you know, you may have heard before, like, you know, there's a lot of brands that they're taking winning ads and they're building landing pages around it, right? They're building the entire customer journey around what they already know is working on the front end. So, for example, we had a client a couple weeks ago. We launched an advertorial based on their highest spending ad. So it was a very education focused ad, very top of funnel. It was bringing in a lot of people, but it wasn't converting that great. Like the ROAS wasn't that great on it. So we said, okay, like people are coming to this ad, they're sharing it, they're commenting on it. It's obviously interesting to them. How do we capitalize on that and actually put them through, you know, to the landing page that they would expect to see based on that
Yeah.
so we built that advertorial around that point. And I just checked today, and since we've launched it like 2 weeks ago, the ROAS has doubled on that
Whoa.
ad
Let's go.
without losing any spend. So like that's like the power of what we're talking about right now. And you couldn't do that with the speed that you're able to do it now. Like we could do that with any ad that we launch, right? Every single ad could have its own perfect landing page that it leads to based on the angle.
That's
Wow.
fascinating. That's
Could you
fascinating.
could you dive into who Jax is? He's not a human, and could you dive a little bit into the backstory of who Jax is, what he's doing now, and kind of what you are up to speed with him now? You've had him running for a little bit.
What is Jax? I don't know what Jax is.
Colin, do you want to
Jax-
dive into who that is?
Yeah, Jax is my first full-time employee. And when I say full-time,
Nice.
I mean 24/7. I mean, he gets no breaks, no vacation, nothing.
Okay. All right.
So, you know, we might run into some legal issues there. I don't know. But yeah, so I used Hermes. You know, you may have heard of Hermes
Yeah.
agent, you know, being a big thing right now. Because we're developing these, you know, these systems for clients right now, there's a lot of, you know, technical details. You know, we're using a lot of code, a lot of custom built solutions. And so I decided, like, let me just deploy an agent inside of Slack, because I communicate with all of my agents or all of my clients inside of Slack. And so that anytime we're having an issue, I'm on the go, I'm not in front of my computer, I can't work on it. I'll just tag Jax. He'll go ahead and triage the issue, whatever it is. He'll deploy whatever the solution is. He'll let me know, hey, this is what I did. I just fixed this little bug that this client was running into. And then, you know, I could be out doing whatever, hanging out with my family, you know, going to jujitsu, whatever.
So when you say triage an issue, like it's evaluating, or you're saying like, oh yeah, that's
End-to-end.
right, you evaluated it correctly, now go fix it. Are you also like sending him off to execute?
Yeah, everything. He has full access to the code base for these, you know, these apps. Has full access to, you know, all of the context on the back end, you know, for all these clients. So he's fully up to speed.
Wow. I mean, this is unbelievable. I have a guy at my gym that is talking about his Hermes agent all the time, and I am trying to see kind of how these things are playing out with Hermes. What are you trying to kind of have that next evolution with him? So, what ideally, you know, you have your current state of with him now. Maybe in 6 months, a year from now, ideally, what does that agent look like for you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's even just what does the agent look like. It's more like, what does the organization look like? And this is why I'm like, I'm really bullish right now for agencies in general, because you have this operational load that's kind of been lifted with AI. I don't know if you guys have heard of Paperclip, but Paperclip is it's something that you can use alongside Hermes to actually spin up an entire organization of agents where there's an orchestrator that sits over top and can like route different things to the different sub agents. And so you can essentially have, like, you know, in theory, and I think this is possible to some extent now, a zero human company. And so that's kind of what I see it building towards for a lot of agencies. And it's like the value, you know, kind of skyrockets from there. Cause like for me, if I stepped away from the business right now, there's not really any inherent value in it. It's not like a brand. It's not like an e-commerce brand where there's some inherent value beyond the founder. But I think that's where things are headed right now. So I'm excited about that.
Wow.
Gosh, I so want to do I want to leverage an army of agents for us. And what we do on this show, I just, I don't know, like we got a show every day. And so I never end up doing it or diving headlong into it. But this thesis possibility of having a zero, human or a single human company. I mean, I feel like this is what Polsia or whatever this guy who just raised $30 million. This is like his entire thing is have your entire company. He is a single solo founder, no employees, and his agents are going everywhere and doing everything. I do find this to be bullish for agencies and essentially operationalizing your mind and their capabilities and being able to operate and have those workflows and automations and learning and knowledge operate 24/7 on behalf of your clients. I mean, that is a real value that could be possible. Let me ask this, Colin. When you are building these capabilities for various brands, which I think very smart, seeing where the puck is going, changing, different offering, on top of the success that you had previously with unlimited statics. Brother, what does it look like? What does that mean? What does it mean?
Yeah.
You're like coming into somebody's business, you're building something inside of their Slacker. What's it actually mean? What's it look like?
Yeah, right now it's very custom. I started out on this journey almost thinking like a SaaS operator. I was like, I'm going to build this platform and I'm going to get a bunch of tenants on it. And like, I think this is a reason why I'm bullish on agencies. I'm bearish on SaaS. The reason I'm bearish is because this operational efficiency that's getting unlocked for agencies is going to make it so that custom tools are so much more accessible. And so when I come into a company, I'm like, well, what do you want to build? What do you actually need for your creatives, right? Do you need us to, put together a series of skill files that you can drop into Claude and deploy so that you can, write scripts for podcast style ads and, animation style ads and things like that? Like, is that how you want to operate? Or do you want some sort of, tool? For example, I just put together a tool for a brand. They sell auto parts. And they have a ton of like UGC style assets with an old packaging, like old box. So they had all these old ads that were winners for them, but now they have a new box. And they're like, we just want something that like quickly allows us to generate a bunch of new ads where it just swaps out the box and it looks exactly the same. It's like, that's a very niche use case that like you wouldn't necessarily, before these tools existed, you wouldn't necessarily be able to build just that, or it wouldn't be feasible. It wouldn't make sense.
That's very interesting.
I also think too, you could confirm this. I think you're also now a brand owner. Could you dive into that and what you're doing with said brand?
Yeah. So I founded a company with my father and brother-in-law last year or a couple of years ago. It's called Servco Health. We're kind of in the middle of a pivot right now. So it's not like an active priority at this moment. But taught me a lot about the nature of this game, running ads for a brand. But it was essentially like microbiome testing for the brain.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of microbiome tests out there. Not a lot of them focus on brain health and the bacteria that are connected with brain health specifically. So that's kind of, the route that we're going down. So we're still looking into it. We're just kind of looking at where our lane is right now.
Absolutely.
Colin, tell me this, because ad creative, that's like where you live and work and play every day and build. Man, is there anybody out there you see, could be anywhere, just off the top of your head, that you like love what they're doing creatively, that you draw inspiration from? I mean, is anybody come to mind like that really you feel like is hitting it on point right now?
Yeah. It's a good question.
I mean, I see you got, it looks like you got sport drink on your shirt.
I think he's got a sports drink shirt.
Yeah, no, that wasn't even intentional, but
just a little,
that's great.
Sport drink there.
Yeah, I like the unhinged kind of marketing.
Sure.
I think people are so sick of like they're so sick of the corporate LinkedIn style communication from brands.
Oh yeah.
So like you see these brands that push back against and they get so much traction. You know, you can't always translate that to like compliant ads, right? But
Sure,
like
sure.
I always look for that. I'm like, how do you interrupt the, you know, the flow of someone's day to day? So I don't know. I grab inspiration from all over. I don't know that I like look for specific brands.
Yeah.
I usually just try to look at, like, if I'm working with a brand, you know, who in that space are selling something at a similar price point, similar type of offering, who's like putting together not just good creatives, but like good funnels. So for example, like, you know, we work with a farm that does cow shares. You know, they're selling like,
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
multi-thousand-dollar cow shares.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's not a lot of other, like, I can't look at a supplement brand, you know,
Yeah.
and really grab their creative or their philosophy. But we found landing pages and creative from saunas, like this company that does saunas, right? So it's a multi-thousand-dollar SKU.
Let's go. Yeah.
And they're doing the way that they're running their advertorials. We looked at that and we said, that's what we need to do. And we tried it and it's working really well.
I like
Wow.
that. I
That's
like that.
unbelievable.
Man, I feel like we need to have you back, Colin, because
Absolutely.
this thing of building internal systems, custom, unique for brands, like what they need, creative focused. I mean, it's obviously the moment. And, you know, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll be here this time next year and you've you know, pivoted into something else that's another development on everything that you're doing. But I feel like this was such a smart move on
Absolutely.
your side, and I find it unique. And I want to be you don't have to say it here and now, but I want to find out who you've made these things for, and I want to be watching the creative that's coming out of there.
For sure.
Colin,
For sure. Yeah.
man, tell us this. Man, where can people find you, follow you, learn from you, talk to you? Somebody's listening right now and they're like, yeah, actually, that's what I need. I need an internal creative system that can operate on our behalf. Man, where do they find you? Where do they follow you? Where do they talk to you?
Yeah, I'm most active on X. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me there, Colin Elefante. I don't think there's anybody else with that name.
Got it.
So you'll find me. And then AdOven.co. That's the
Let's
website.
go.
You can book a call with me there and we can see if it's a good fit. And for you guys, if you guys want anything, you guys talked about maybe doing some agents, you know, setting some
I
stuff
do.
up for what
We
you
need
guys are
some
doing.
agents.
Happy to talk to you guys about that too.
We're going to talk with you. We're going to talk with you because we need it. Colin, man, we appreciate you coming and joining us. Brother, have a happy weekend. And we look forward to getting us a little system set up here too. Methinks we need some agents. We appreciate you, brother. Look forward to having you back now.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.